You know that one person in meetings that just never seems to be stressed and they're really just taking their time, they're not agitated, they're leaning back and they speak as if there's no rush at all. And if you feel a bit nervous public speaking, presenting, leading calls, even though you've done it many times before, but somehow your body just always tenses up and the words don't come out as confident as they could, then currently you might be thinking, well, I could never be like that. And I completely relate. I have been there and I always put myself through the challenge of speaking when I could, of leading calls when I could. And I prepared so much. I've done all the preparation you can do, the structuring, I had all my bullet points in a note, carefully placed so that I don't forget what to talk about. But then somehow, despite all the preparation and despite all the things being ticked off and ready to go, it would just never come out the right way. And for the longest time, I thought that, okay, it's just a matter of mindset. I just have to go in feeling confident. And I tried to talk myself out of the nervousness, doing all the tricks, being like, well, what if I frame it as being excited? What if I frame it as a great challenge, a great opportunity? But honestly, nothing worked until I've realized that this is not simply a mind problem. This is a body problem. That confidence that some people have, it's not just mental, it is physical. And if you do all the mindset work in the world, but you do not address how your body is feeling, then you're not gonna get out of that vicious cycle. And that's because it works in both directions. If you're feeling insecure, then your body will shrink. But equally, even if you try and talk yourself into confidence, if your body is already tight and tense and you're really taking up as little space as you can, then that will translate into how your voice comes across, into how you present and how you show up in the space. In my career, I worked in a Big Four consulting firm and I was a people consultant working with senior leaders on their leadership development, progressing in their careers, getting the promotions that they want, and achieving their personal goals without losing themselves in the corporate grind. But alongside that, something that you will not find often in the corporate world is that I'm a professional dancer. I have been performing for the past 5 or 6 years, and I'm also currently training full-time as a dancer. And the thing that I've come to realize throughout my corporate and dance journey is that you can't think your way out of a tense body. So let me tell you a quick personal story about when this realization really clicked for me. And surprisingly, it comes not from my corporate side of the career, but it comes from the dance and performance experience that I have. The story is just the fact that for the longest time, I was really throwing things against the wall and battling the fact that I just wasn't embodying the confidence that I was seeing in some less experienced dancers. It completely baffled me because in my mind, and if you're someone as perfectionist and, straight A student, you're used to studying your way through things. You're used to working really, really hard, and then that being enough to get you to the result that you want, like the grades that you want, or getting into university of your dreams. And I've done all of those things. I got into LSE and then UCL. I was getting the grades that I wanted. I finished both with a first. And then I came into the working world. And I was faced with the realization that actually not everything is about having the correct answers, studying really hard, or being the best at the job. A lot of the time, the things that matter are your network, the optics, your visibility, and how you show up. And honestly, if you show up confidently, then no one will even question your credentials. In a way, this doesn't quite contradict the concept of meritocracy, but rather it flips it a bit on its head, because part of the skill that is being assessed is that confidence, is that presence, is the taking up of space, is being able to network with people and build real connections that will then progress in your career. That is part of the game. So when I was going to endless dance classes and I was really trying hard to get the technique right, get the correct steps, and I was doing that, I was getting the correct steps, but why did that still not feel like enough for a performance to come across as fully powerful and impactful? And that was because I was not embodying the concept of being a good dancer. And there's no other way to put it. I just didn't believe that I was good enough, and that showed. And I'm sure you can relate to this. If you're similar to me, then however much you study, however much you learn about a subject, however much experience you have in your job, when you, for example, apply for a new role, or you put together your CV, or you go for that promotion, you're still doubting yourself all the freaking time. And I think that is because that embodiment piece is missing. So let's tie this back to the meeting context. When you see someone who is taking up the space, who's leaning back, they're not stressed, they come across as someone who has more respect, authority, even knowledge sometimes, because there's this concept of a halo effect. When we see one person excelling at one thing, then we instantly assume that they're good at the other ones. Like if someone is smart, then we assume that they're also nice and kind and polite and all of those other positive characteristics. So if you can embody and show up as someone who has those things, who has the authority, respect, and confidence, then that's how people will perceive you. And it will also extend to your work reputation, to the knowledge they assume you have, and all the other positive characteristics that actually matter for your progression in your career. So now you might be wondering, well, if I can't think my way out of that, then how the hell do I get there? How do I become this person that takes up the airtime, that feels like their presence is valuable, that contributes without rushing? And the answer is through your body. I'll introduce you to one technique that I personally use. I've learned it recently in my professional dance training. It's not the stuff that I've seen talked about anywhere on YouTube, so I hope it's valuable to you. And then if that's not something that works for you, I'll give you some more alternatives later in the video. This is a simple 5-minute technique to get into your body, ground yourself, and feel present in the space. It's something that I've done before filming this video. It's something that I've done multiple times when I was feeling a bit nervous and really in my head. And it genuinely helps to bring you back to yourself, to your calm, confident self that can then show up better, present better, take up the space, and feel like you're not faking confidence, but actually feel more confident in a way that translates to others. We learned this technique in a class called Flying Low and Passing Through. It's a style that is now being taught in dance universities and is very popular. This is something that we did before every session of that dance style that we had. It's called the Qigong technique. It comes from the ancient Chinese practice that really emphasizes the mind-body connection that we're talking about here. And one of the exercises from that practice is this one. You simply stand in your space. This works ideally if you're working remote. Otherwise, you can just find a quiet space that is away from other people. If you have a big presentation, a meeting coming up, you stand up in a relaxed way, find yourself in a comfortable position, legs just underneath your hips. If you can, close your eyes and then you start shaking your body. You can start very gentle, very slow, and then build up the speed. See what works for your body, see what relaxes it best, and keep going for 3 to 5 minutes. Crucially, it does not matter at all how it looks. It really matters how it feels. You should feel your muscles and your body letting out a sigh of relief. Don't hold your breath, let your breath out. You might be making some sounds that you're maybe not used to making when you just breathe out in a very free way. Let all of that happen. You can either just do it yourself for a few minutes, or you can set a timer that will alert you when the time is up. Just give that a go. See how you feel. If that doesn't work for you, there are a few other ways that you can achieve the same result. And it's just any sort of movement that gets you into your body and out of your head. It can be walking for 5 minutes before a big meeting where you really need to feel at your most confident and relaxed self. It can be dancing to your favorite songs. I have literally done that many times when I feel a bit nervous before a call that I am supposed to lead, or a big meeting where I know that I want to speak. I literally put on a song that I really like and I just dance it out for 5 minutes. The way that I feel after that is not even comparable to what I started with. I promise you that if you spend 5 minutes on your body, your mind will feel the benefits so incredibly much. And the key takeaway of all this is that you don't need to be the loudest in the room to translate that confidence to others. You just need to feel at home in your body. It's as simple as that. And if your mind is not at ease, your body won't be. And if your body isn't at ease, your mind won't be either, as much as you can try. And I swear I've tried so much and I was feeling so incredibly frustrated. Why can't I just do the inner work, the growth and all the mindset stuff that would get me to just stop feeling so nervous? And then I realized that that's just because the mind is not the full story, and I've been ignoring my body for a very long time, despite the fact that I'm a dancer, despite the fact that I'm so used to being in my body, performing with my body. But somehow that connection was just not clicking for me until I've realized this. So I dare you to try it. Let me know how it goes. And if you have any other tips that you have found useful, leave them in the comments. If this resonated, I've put together a short 3-minute quiz that lets you pinpoint exactly what's holding you back at work from being promoted, being seen, being recognized for the work that you do. Most people think it's competence. It's usually not. You can take the quiz for free via the link in the description. And if you already know that you want deeper support, then I'll leave a link down below to work with me one-on-one. I'll see you in the next video.